Welcome to Morocco. I am here and so excited to be in Azla, which is just a little bit outside of Tetouan. And we are directly on the Mediterranean Sea. And we're about to have a sea-to-table experience that's really going to be out of this world. And we're a few minutes late getting started today because I was completely excited about so many choices. And in this amazing restaurant that we're in, it's very unique, and I'd like to say thank you. We're here at American, and they had a very good, humble beginnings. Just behind me, they had a kiosk on the beach and got busier and busier, and now we're in this absolutely amazing restaurant. We're gonna be tagging them to make sure that you go check out their social media. And we went downstairs because the menu is with your eyes, with the most amazing seafood counter. And I know because when we were talking to them, most of it was fresh picked and fresh cooked. Look, it's already starting to arrive. So we're gonna talk about some of the beginnings that you're gonna see with all, and the most traditional way is to start with some salad, and then trust me, the seafood platter that's coming is absolutely awesome. You can probably hear it's a Sunday afternoon here in Morocco, and it's one of the most popular days for everybody to get out with their family and enjoy this amazing food. The moms don't have to cook, everybody's out and enjoying what's going to be happening. So, very traditionally here is, I'm always going to have some bread or hobs, of course, some olives. You always hear me talking about olives and how amazing they are in Morocco. And I love this. This is a zalouk. It is like a mixture of peppers, onions, spices, and then of course, a nice, perfectly charred pepper. Now, some of them have been mild and some of them have hot, so we're gonna see which pepper we're gonna be getting today. And the other thing that's amazing when you start looking at most meals are gonna start in Morocco with a beautiful salad, and today is no different. So when you go downstairs here, you're gonna pick your fish. I know right now the fish that we chose, they're cooking as we speak, and they have all these amazing salads ready to go. So you can customize it whichever way you want. So, which I'm really excited because we've got some beautiful beets here. Beets are, well, let's just say one of the healthiest vegetables that you can eat. Wonderful seasoning, just a light seasoning with a little bit of cilantro, exactly so you get that sweet, earthy flavor of the beets. In here, we've got a little bit, and in Canada, we would call this like a coleslaw as well. But what I love that they do is there's a few raisins in it. So the flavor of this, again, absolutely amazing. Check it out. Love this. I didn't even take any pictures before I started. I was just digging into this one. I'm gonna rotate this around. That coleslaw's got a nice sweet flavor because the raisins add that natural sweetness that is always a nice balance with a coleslaw. And of course, carrots. Perfect carrots. This is a salad that I've become over the last few years. I make this at home as well. Just a little bit of vinegar, salt, pepper, tiny bit of cumin, and again, some of those nice fresh herbs. The food just is gonna keep coming and coming and coming. All right, shukran. All right, we're gonna get a few things rearranged here. Listen, I know everybody watching is like, the food is just gonna keep coming and coming. So let's finish a bit with the salad. Over here, we've got a nice cold salad, and I wanna hold this up because it's got beautiful pieces of calamari, different fish inside of it. And then another traditional one here. Love this, it's a favorite. Just had this with our friends and family here the other day. And look at this, it's rice, corn, mayonnaise, and again, has a little bit of fish inside of it. Absolutely awesome. Love the flavors. And they've got some beautiful fresh fruit around the edges. And I want to remind people, one of my favorite things about Morocco is this country produces everything itself. There's no need to import any of these fruits or vegetables because they're constantly growing, and absolutely awesome. So we're gonna push our salad off here to the side because you know we're gonna be coming back to eat that. Something that's commonly served with a lot of the meals too. This is a nice dish, and it's got tomatoes and some beautiful beans. So you're getting some of that nice extra protein and flavor with a bit of a nice fresh tomato sauce. Love the spices, the warmth. You can taste the paprika and all the different seasoning in that. Absolutely awesome. I'm gonna have a little bite of my zalouk. And the roast. That has a lot of eggplant in it. An underrated vegetable that more people need to get into their diet. The flavor on it is, I'm going in for another bite. I think this is gonna be one of the top ones I've had. The flavor in this is sensational. Wow. That's absolutely awesome. So being from Atlantic Canada, I'm right on the Atlantic Ocean at home in Canada. Here, as I said earlier, we're on the Mediterranean Sea. And you're gonna get the same different types of fresh. And we're very famous in our region in Canada for oysters. And we've been taste testing some oysters as we've traveled through over the last bit. And look at these beautiful oysters. I love it because when I'm looking at the oysters here, the shells are thicker. It's like they've got a lot more depth and the different type of oysters. And of course, they've got them all ready to go. This is beautiful. And we've got our nice fresh lemon inside of this. Look at the size of this oyster. This is crazy. I'm gonna turn this over to my cameraman to enjoy this oyster. And I know he's gonna love it. There we go. Get that separated. They're huge. Look at the size of this oyster. I'm not sure if I've seen oysters this size at home. And the nice thing, oysters are so full of nutrients, and it's like a little sip of the ocean. So we're gonna add a little bit of fresh lime, just a squeeze of fresh lime. There we go. I've been working on the flavor of oysters, but I'm gonna share this one and put this over for him to have a taste with, because I'm really excited about my croquettes here. But let's hold these up so you can have a better look at how beautiful these are. Look at that. I also want to give a very big shout out to the chefs display and the care that goes into how they're preparing the food. You can tell that they admire what they're doing every day. So we're gonna push this one over here. And don't, just wait, because there's a huge tray of fish coming. And we're gonna be saving some of this to share later. Let's have an olive to give my palate a change. Wow. Those are delicious. You're gonna see green, you're gonna see light color. We got some black olives and some Kalamata olives in here. And that brininess is a perfect pairing with the seafood. So let's try a couple of these croquettes. And again, we know that this morning when we were coming in, they were preparing everything fresh. And the nice thing is you can sit here and have them cook it for you, or you can get it all to go so that you can enjoy that at home with family and friends, whichever your preference is. Now, I know my mom's watching, and tartar sauce is one of my favorite things. And this is obviously our Moroccan version of a tartar sauce. There's some mayonnaise, some onions, and some fresh herbs in here. So let's have a little taste and a bite with this. See what we got. Cheers. Oh wow, those are perfectly cooked. The crust on the outside, the creaminess on the inside. It's a beautiful white fish. Delicious flavor. That tastes like a second bite to me before I go in and try the number 2. What they've done inside of this one, wow, those are delicious. That they've done a little bit of a minced mixture, so it's very, very soft and creamy inside. And I'm pretty sure these ones have shrimp inside because I can see his little claw sticking out the edge. So we'll use that as a handle. Let's dip this in here and go in for bite number 2. This definitely has that beautiful light flavor that shrimp gives. I love shrimp. Absolutely delicious. You can taste the full piece of shrimp on the inside of it. Love the flavor there. And I'm not sure if these two I can tell are the same. When we were ordering downstairs, one of the managers came up. They're very excited to have Atlantic Canada cooks visiting here and showcase this beautiful food. So I got a little adventurous and said, you choose what you think that we should be having here. So I might have a surprise with this other one. Let's see. We'll give it a dip. A little bit like the flavor of this one, but they've used a few different types of fish in this. Again, absolutely perfectly cooked. Look at the crust on that. Couldn't be better. And I absolutely love the flavor. It's got a soft white fish. Wow. I think I'll definitely be having a whole order of these. I could tell you my mother would love this one. And I love it because the chef has done an absolutely perfect job. Because you get the crusty outside, it's not greasy at all. And the fish and the filling, it's definitely the hero inside of this one. Wow. I'm only taking a few bites of each one because I know what's coming. So I'm gonna move this off to the side because I have a feeling a much bigger dish is gonna be coming. Look at how beautiful this is. The colors, absolutely great. I'm gonna clean my palate just a little bit. We've got some nice fruit here. And we're talking about growing and everything, apples. Different times when I travel here to Morocco, you're gonna see different fruit. And I can tell what's in season because I can see what the vendors have. And when you drive through the streets of Morocco, you're gonna see the best displays of the freshest, most local products. Delicious apples. I think I'm gonna have to take a tour of an apple orchard while I'm here so we can better understand the different types of apples. But this one tastes very similar to like a northern spy apple that we would have at home, which is one of my mom's favorite. Mom, I think you would love that one. I know we've got some fresh pineapple, and we're at one of the larger food stores recently here, and I was seeing that they have lots of pineapple. So this is definitely that harvest season and pineapple time as well. Let's go back over and enjoy a little bit more salad before our huge tray of our seafood arrives. So one of the things when you're traveling here in Morocco that I absolutely love is entrepreneurialism. There are so many small vendors, fish vendors, vegetables, herbs that you're gonna see everywhere because that is an extremely important part of how businesses grow. And I want to go back to that story at the beginning because this particular company and our friends here remind me that they remember coming here when they were kids, but it wasn't in this big, beautiful building that they're in now. They were right over here, right on the beach, where they were able to serve quite a few people, but now this particular restaurant has 2 levels. So if you want to bring large groups here, this is definitely the place to come. And I can tell you, we were welcomed with the best service. Everybody here is really excited. And it was really kind of fun, because when I walked in, just behind this beautiful window in the back, which again has that exceptional view, was a table full of tourists that I think were from Canada, and they were very much enjoying their meal for sure. Ah, look at this. Ooh. This is
in Spanish.
al ajillo? You know, I trust when I'm not even sure the name of the fish that I'm eating. Wow. So the pan is hot. Let's hold this up. So, al ajillo? Al ajillo. So let's talk a bit about the Spanish influence, because what you can't see, we're in the Mediterranean side, but when you go to the tip of the Northern Morocco above Tetouan, you're gonna be in Tangier and you're gonna be overlooking Spain. So you're gonna see so much of that Spanish influence. So the number one thing I can tell you, the aroma, absolutely amazing. So very traditional here is you're gonna see that this is the whole fish. So everything's in here, and all of the different pieces of the fish are so full of healthiness. Here at Atlantic Canada Cooks, we've been putting through a health series, so please make sure you're following along on our Instagram and Facebook, because we continue to put out the health and wellness facts. Recently, we were featuring salmon, and when the research, get more fish in your day. And I can tell you here, Mom, just so you know, I'm eating fish 2 to 3 times a week. So she'll be excited when I get home to know we're gonna continue that. So,
Okay, the orange one, scrub.
ah, see, I was saying that was shrimp. And now I can see it's the crab claw.
Yeah.
This was a crab. But the flavor in it was just so light, so similar crab, shrimp. But yeah, it definitely has. So let's take a little bit of this lemon. Again, these are fresh local lemons. And the size of the lemons. I was trying to find what I wanted was, oh yeah, there we go. And lemon and lime are really traditional when you're eating fresh fish, because I'll tell you what it does. The acid in it gives a really, really great balance. Let's see how, okay, it's not too hot. I'm gonna get this, there we go. So I can smell in the bottom of the pan, and I can see little bits of fresh garlic. Now, the other thing is, eating with your hands is definitely very traditional here in Morocco. We're using a bit of bread or hobs. And I don't know if you can imagine the size of the table that I have, but I can't even reach that bread. So we're gonna get a little bit of help getting the bread, but let's go in to give this a taste. Oh, that fish is so flaky. Oh, wow. Now, remember, the bones are still in, so I want to make sure that I'm avoiding those bones. Wow. That is absolutely delicious. This is a fish that I'm going to want to order again for sure. It is so flaky and perfectly cooked. And do you know what they didn't do? They didn't over season it. That is something that I've often seen if a chef doesn't understand how to cook seafood. And again, where I'm from, Atlantic Canada, seafood is an exceptionally, and fish is a big part of our daily life. And the chefs know what they're doing. So after the show, we're going to be going down and give a big compliment to this chef. This couldn't be more perfectly cooked. So let's go for a much bigger bite on bite number 2. And a boom. Wow. The flavor, absolutely amazing. And we've got an extra. Right? I love you coming on the adventures with me. I'm pretty sure this one is a hot pepper, so we're gonna leave that off to the side. But if I can have a piece of Hubs and a napkin. Bread is life. And the other thing that's really great about this restaurant, they actually make their own bread fresh every day, all day long. Because every meal is going to come with some of this bread. So you can see this one. I love what they've done. This is a bit of a whole wheat one. And they're flat and thin. Why are they flat and thin? Because guess what? It's your spoon all the way through it. And that's the perfect way. So I want to go in here because the bottom of this dish has got such an amazing herb and garlic base. That little bit of lemon that I put through it, again, just adds to that. The olive oil in it is absolutely perfect. Oh my gosh, that flavor is amazing. I'm gonna keep eating this. And you have no idea because there's about 5 different types of fish still coming. And the other thing about fish, that fish doesn't take long to cook. So get home, bring some fresh fish home. Be careful, don't walk away from that stove when you're cooking because it is really quite fast. Grilled fish is always amazing as well. And I can tell you something, I want to go back in here because they have sprinkled on top of this another type of fish. And I am pretty sure I've had this one before. And again, it's a light fish because I was eating it and the first time I had it, I said, this chicken tastes a little fishy. And then the comment was, because you're eating fish. Wow. And I promise in our description, when you watch this back, we're gonna make sure we write down the proper names of the different types of fish. That's got a beautiful flavor. Let's go in for a little bit more of this with the sauce. And as you can see, the kids are out here. I've got this little one here behind me. Very curious about what's going on. I have to emphasize the flavor and the seasoning is out of control. She's curious. Maybe she's going to be our next Food Network star. She'll be remembering coming to where we are Atlantic Canada cooks hanging out here in Morocco. Wow. That flavor's awesome. I want to keep eating it, but I also know how much is coming. So let's take a little midway break through here and add a little bit more salad. Clean my palate a little bit for round 2. And this was fast. Perfect balance in between the two. I'm gonna save my pineapple for the end. And I'll tell you why. Because pineapple has a really strong flavor. I'm gonna preserve a bit of my palate for that next time. So growing up for me, my parents absolutely loved fish. Fish was a big part of our life. But I didn't necessarily love the fish, or as I would say at home, I'll have fish and chips, which is pretty much fish fried with batter. What I have learned over time is, do you know what? If you let the fish be the hero in the dish, you're gonna definitely get a lot of different flavors. And I'm happy to say in my travels over the last few years coming here to Morocco, I really was inspired to try a lot of new things. And I'm really excited that I have, because it's opened up my mind and my palate to a lot more experiences. So I encourage you, if you're not a fish lover now, go to a great seafood restaurant, have a discussion with the chefs, and make sure you learn a lot more about what's going on. And start with your sweeter white fish. And that's when I say it's not so fishy fish. You're gonna get all the health benefits, and not necessarily that deeper fish flavor that not everybody loves. I'm still working on tuna. That one isn't necessarily one of my favorite, but I can tell you here, you're gonna find a very traditional Moroccan salad. Always has some tuna or thon across the top of it. And this other salad that we were talking about here with the rice, it's got some shredded carrot and the rice, mayonnaise, and corn. Traditionally, that is also going to have some tuna in it. So, same thing. When you're here in the north of Morocco, fish is part of the day-to-day life, and it's going to give you all the extra nutrients and energy that you need. And I can tell you today, we're going to be taking a beautiful walk along the Mediterranean so that we can experience more of what's going on with that absolutely beautiful day. And I love it because I think my audience behind me is growing with all these beautiful little kids. Hi. Stay curious. And I love that these little ones are staying curious, right? Let's take one more dip of this. I think we're gonna see our bigger tray coming here in just a few minutes. Love the flavors. So earlier this week, while we're waiting for our next course to come in, you're going to be seeing a video that we're going to publish this week. And I had the most amazing tour in Marrakesh, or I should say just outside of Marrakesh, in Agafay. And we had a great tour. We had the opportunity to go on some quads, take about an hour across the desert. And the desert where we were, sort of on the edge of Sahara, wasn't so sandy because there's been so much rain here over the last few months, that it was really green and lush, which was really cool because you can tell that the animals were very happy. So we took a drive through, then we came back and had a very cool camel ride. So I must say, that was a very big highlight of my trip so far. After that, we had the opportunity to visit a women's collective where they are producing argan oil. And not just the argan oil for your hair, for your face, and for eating. And they talked to us a bit about how the different processing works with the argan so that you can understand what is blended with it, so that some of it is for ingestion and the rest of it's for cosmetic. So I think my hair is getting better, my skin is getting better, because of course I had to make a few purchases to try some of those amazing products. And then we came back to the camp, and then we had an amazing meal with a tagine, we had some couscous, and then right after that, we had a beautiful evening. The sun was now setting, and we had a great fire show. And the price of that was about 26 Canadian dollars for all of those activities. So I really want to encourage you when you're traveling and understand that this country has incredible prices for you to go and take adventures that aren't nearly as expensive as my home country or other countries. Look, I can see the look on Mohammed's face as this is coming in, and I could smell it as he came by. So I'm pretty excited about what we're gonna have here. I think I'm gonna get my camera out for this one so I can take a picture. Okay, we're gonna move this one. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna get our audience ready here. Wow. So not only did this come, dessert came. So we're gonna hide that dessert so you get to see that in a few minutes. You know, when the show wraps up, where I'm gonna be here finishing this off. So bear with me while I take a picture. This is incredible. Okay, I've ordered some seafood dishes here before, but we're gonna really say thank you to American. They were so excited to have us come here, and they're certainly not disappointing. This is crazy. So, just before we start, we might have got a little excited when we're ordering. Again, where they don't have a menu, you're paying by the kilo. But we are gonna take this to go to share. Let's see if I can hold this up. I am gonna be able to hold this up. Wow. Okay, are you ready? We're gonna take a swim through the ocean and try this together. This is absolutely incredible. So I feel like I'm gonna start at the ends and work my way in. But that being said, okay, we've got some fried calamari. And for years I didn't think I really liked calamari until I came here to Morocco. And I absolutely love calamari. So let's have a taste of this. And we've got like 4 different sauces.
White sauce.
White sauce, okay. So advice is we're gonna start with the white sauce. So let's do a dip in the white sauce. That is so perfectly cooked. Oh. Wow, the flavor is amazing. That's delicious. And I think I had 2 different types of calamari here. So I'm gonna go in for this one as well. It is so smooth, perfectly easy to chew. Sometimes people think that calamari is gonna be tough. Not this one. Come on, we're gonna hold the, look at this party. Got all the little sides of it. So much flavor. That's crazy. All right, let's get, wow, the presentation here. The char. I've got 2 different types of white fish here, and they are so perfectly seared. My compliments again to the chef. Okay, let's get a little bit of fresh lime across this. This is getting more exciting. So I'm gonna hold these up. So I've got 2 different types. These are like a crawfish. Look at the size difference that we have here. So this is more of a traditional shrimp that we would know. So they've removed the heads off of this. And it's kind of easy because if you just pinch at the bottom, the skins come right off. We're gonna open this up. Oh, wow. I'm not gonna dip because I just want to try these because I absolutely love shrimp. Those are amazing. It is so light. I want to hold this guy up so you can have a look. Because you know what they did? I love that they did this. They grilled them. You see those grill marks? So perfectly cooked. I'm gonna come back over to here. Okay, let's go in for these larger ones. So, many people will eat the heads. Michelle's gonna skip those today. Now, I've had these before, and it's interesting because they taste a little bit like crab at home, or even a little bit like lobster. I'm gonna peel that out. Look at the beautiful color on that. It does look like a baby lobster. We're gonna open this up because remember, these have been cooked whole. And because I grew up, say hi to all the lobster and the fishermen around the world, just outside of Alma, New Brunswick, which is Fundy National Park, and grew up on lobster. So what I'm cleaning out is the inside, and this red is what's called roe, and that's a little bit of the eggs. I'm gonna take that out. That looks amazing. I think this is a little bit of an oil with garlic. Ooh, that is definitely oil with garlic. They're both amazing, but this has like a light lobster flavor to me. This is just traditional shrimp, absolutely tastes like a traditional shrimp, but these little bit bigger ones definitely have that different flavor. So let's get excited because I have 4 different types of sauces here, and let's go in for the 2 different types of fish that we have. So, all right. And the chef prepared this so uniquely. I don't think I can pick it up because it's literally gonna fall apart. Look how flaky that is. But I wanna hold up so you can see. Those are so perfectly cooked, the char that's on that. So let's start with no seasoning so we can taste just how rich it is. And I gotta warn everybody, just remember that the bones are still in, so when you're pulling it off, be a little extra careful. That is so light. Absolutely amazing. This will be nice warmed up, but I knew before I was coming here that there was gonna be a lot of food. So to be honest with you, I'm gonna make some amazing fish tacos later. So I'm gonna take this, some fresh salsa, and take all this beautiful food and turn it into a second dish. So we definitely don't want to waste any of these flavors. All right, let's go over to this one. Oh, I think I'm gonna be able to hold this one up. There we go. You can see, look at this. That is so perfectly cooked. And again, like I said, cooking at home is a great thing, especially when you know how to cook fish properly. But these are trained chefs here and they know exactly what they're doing. So let's give this, I'm gonna put a little bit of the red sauce on this one. Give this a taste. Beautiful flavor. I'll tell you, between the 2 of them, this little one here, and I know one of them we have is a small sea bass, and I think it's this one. And again, I'm gonna get the names of the fish. There were so many different choices when we were sitting down to order that it was fast. And I'm just gonna source that glass of water. We're gonna go in for another bite of calamari. Michelle's got another bone in that bite. Michelle got a bone in that bite. All right, so I'm gonna finish off my fishy experience here just before we wrap up the show with one more bite of calamari. We're gonna try the force sauce. And what I know I have here is an incredible array of desserts. Oh, that's so delicious. When we were starting, I was gonna just choose one, and that's a flan. And that's such a nice light custard, and I believe this area of Morocco is still famous for it. But when I went over to the dessert display, one of the waiters looked and said, we've got a tray with a little bit of everything. So we're gonna go in for a little bit of everything. Put my lemons on my tray. Or limes, I should say. And we're gonna move this off to the side. So if any of you ever had a question about how much fun it is for Atlantic Canada cooks, we're definitely eating well. All right. Life is meant to be finished with dessert. So, my compliments to the pastry chefs and the presentation. I'm just gonna slowly turn this. Let's start with how they cut the apple. Look at this. And inside of the apple is got some fresh berries. Wow, and the tiny little flower. We've got some amazing cheesecake. And of course, always fruit. I also want to mention that the very traditional in Moroccan eating, after any meal, you're always going to have some fresh seasonal fruit and then a few sweets. And as I'm turning this, the flan in the middle has got the perfect texture to it. We've got a layered cake here, and I love this. We've got an Oreo cookie on the top with a walnut. Nuts are also an incredibly big part. So let me just do Okay, we're gonna be taking a long walk later. Did I mention that? Because we're gonna need to be doing that. So we're gonna wrap up with a bit of tasting. I'll save the fruit for the end, but let's indulge Michelle in her foodie self, and you can check out her Instagram after, because this apple with the flower and the raspberries is so sweet. All right. Where do you start? Okay. I'm going to start with a bite of this cheesecake. So perfectly layered. We've got strawberry at the top. We have raspberry at the top of that, not strawberry. It tastes absolutely incredible. The cheesecake is so light and flavorful. It literally melts in your mouth. All right, we've got this little cake here. And I'm gonna hold this whole one up. Look at the layers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There is 6 layers of flavor. I thought there was 5. There's 6 layers of flavor in this one. So we're gonna get a bite with every layer. That is not nearly as sweet as you might think it is. It's actually light. You can taste the different layers. I think there's a little bit of a Nutella flavor in there. A light cream with a little bit of a cake on the bottom. I'm working my way to the flan that's in the absolute middle of this. All right. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers with a crumble on top. But this one is layers of the same cake. Look at this. That is absolutely spectacular. I can't. And it's interesting. Ooh. Let's move that out of the way. You know, a lot of people ask me, where should I eat? And look at this bite. Staying on there perfectly. Yum. I can taste the cinnamon and a tiny bit of ginger in there. That's a beautiful layered cake with a little bit of the crumble on the top. That flavor, that's spectacular. What I can tell you, this entire meal, from start to finish, absolutely tastes like more. And you can tell that I've got a whole lot more that I'm going to be sharing. But we're going to go in for the flan. And it's a perfect way to end a perfect meal here in the Mediterranean in Azla, Morocco. So take the trip here to American Take the opportunity, select whatever you want. And you know what I love about it? If you just want to try a little bit of something or a lot of something, it gives you that opportunity. Because I often get overwhelmed when I'm in a menu because I want a little bite of everything. This is the perfect place to eat because they're going to allow you to do just that. So, and the test of flan is how bouncy it is. And you can see how this one is. Let's go for there. Perfect flavor. Got a little bit of caramel on top. The custard is set absolutely amazing, and all the flavors there. So I'd like to say thank you for joining me from my sea to table experience here in Morocco. And stay tuned because you're gonna see me over the next few weeks on Sundays touring all the different food experiences that you would expect to see here in Morocco. So I hope you join us for more. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the team here at American. And we hope that you have a healthy, good day and enjoy some great fish this week. Support local. Thanks, everybody.